Welcome back to Eater's Digest. With me, as always, is Willow North. Willow, are you watching the Super Bowl? It is Super Bowl time. Are you going to be watching?
I have never watched a single game of football in my entire life.
Really? Not even the big game. Why is that?
I grew up with a dad who's really into sports, so I think I naturally just tried to go against anything related to that.
You are not even the type who watches for the commercials.
No, not really. I grew up without like television a lot when I was a kid, so I never really got into that.
Fascinating. Not even for the food. I see things like a shrimp parmesan sandwich and buffalo chicken nachos, and these are the types of hedonistic fusion cuisines that I love the most. You don't get down with any of that, huh?
Not too much. I gotta say though, I did think of you when I saw that Maddie Matheson shrimp parmesan video. I was like, this is exactly something that you would make.
Yeah, I think I might actually. But well, dang, I can't gripe about Super Bowl commercials with you. I will anyway, but there's this thing where it's like people get excited to watch the Super Bowl commercials, and these days, especially this year, I've noticed you can just go on YouTube and watch them all before they go on TV. I know
That's
that
so
there's
strange.
there's already an Uber Eats Charlie XCX Martha Stewart collaboration that's been, I don't want to say leaked, but teased maybe. You see ads for the ads. When I start up my Chromecast, I see a whole menu system that's like, watch the big game ads before they come out. And so, it reminds me of Black Friday, how it was this one thing that we were all culturally going to be like, yes, let's all do it. And then it crept up so much that the day doesn't really even matter anymore. And that's kind of lame.
Yeah, it's kind of a good example of like the hype around something overtaking the actual event itself.
I felt like a lot of the best Super Bowl ads were for snack foods and food brands, Doritos, Cheetos. Mr. Peanut died one year. I don't know if you ever heard about that. He came back as a baby peanut.
Rest in peace.
Right. These are the types of things that we're now missing out on as a cultural touchstone moment. And I just wanted to say that I missed that. You can
Maybe
feel
I'll
free to.
have to tune in so we can talk about it next week.
No, there's no point anymore. You can just watch them on YouTube now. You successfully dodged the entire era of watching the Super Bowl being important, at least for the ads. Congratulations.
TikTok now allows users to leave reviews for restaurants by tagging the location in a video, triggering their new review feature. It's still unclear whether this device will depend only on tagging or include map integration for better location accuracy. Given TikTok's massive reach and user base, this could become a powerful tool for influencing dining decisions, though there are concerns about its potential misuse and impact on trustworthiness.
I do earnestly feel like this is the biggest development on TikTok since I started paying attention to the app. I don't really care about map integration too much. I know that Yelp does that. But what's also, I think, really important is that when you select, it's a 5-star system. And when you select, say, 3 stars, a little word will pop up similar to Yelp that'll just say good. And so there's at least some level of standardization where it's like, you're not going to be able to give half stars. And we all agree that 3 means good, and 4 means really good, and 5 means excellent, or whatever they decide on those words being. I do feel bad for anybody who might have a really specific rating system, like if they are a TikTok food reviewer and they say like this is a 17 booms out of 19, or something like that. That's not going to fit into this new system, but I don't know. I think this is actually pretty important, and I think we're going to have to pay attention to this as it develops.
I have mixed feelings about this one. I think it could kind of go either way, honestly. I think integrating something like this into an existing social media app sounds really good in theory because, these review websites are better and more reliable the more people that use them, and integrating it into an existing social media app means more people are leaving reviews and you have kind of a better idea from that. However, it makes me think back to like Facebook reviews, which I feel like never really took off in a huge way. And I feel like it could end up flopping sort of like that did. And also, if it doesn't have any kind of like map integration the way that Yelp does, I feel like it could very easily devolve into like a dogpiling situation where you have some of these big name food influencers who maybe didn't have a great experience at a restaurant, and they have a very intense fan base that maybe goes after this restaurant on social media, is posting dozens of videos tagging them in it. And if you don't have some sort of map integration that can like show that you were at this place, or at least have some sort of system for filtering less qualified reviews, I don't know that it could work well without something like that.
I think you're right to be concerned about dogpiling, especially on an app as toxic as TikTok. But I also think you're approaching this from like a sane, reasonable person of the industry. And that's just not how things work anymore. Like, even when you think of Letterbox, which is like the biggest thing to happen to movie reviews in a really long time, a lot of times the best or like most popular or everybody's favorite letterbox reviewers aren't even doing a really great job of like reviewing the movie itself. It's just social media. It's sort of like tweeting about the movie. It's who can make the best one-liner quip about the movie that's like, that's pretty funny. That's pretty true. And it's just like, I think you have to let go of the idea that food reviewers on TikTok are going to be accurate, helpful, anything of that nature, and it's just going to be social media. This is definitely very niche, but there's a Phoenix area food review lady who started popping off, but just during her negative reviews. So she'll go to like Bacanora, which is one of the most revered new restaurants in Phoenix, and be like, "That was actually so yucky." I'm like, she uses terms like "damn daddy chill," like she uses very trendy terms. It- it's it's really weird because, like, when you look at all of her posts, only the negative ones do really well, and all the comments on those negative ones are like, "Finally, an honest reviewer." And so it's like, I think we just have to come to terms with what certain people expect from social media about food. And one of my biggest complaints was that people who call themselves food reviewers on TikTok kind of just show what they got and don't come to any conclusion. And this 5-star rating system forces them to do so in order to be included in that catalog of reviews. And I think that will probably be, I don't even want to say net positive, but worth watching.
I think you're right. I think at the end of the day, maybe I need to remind myself that TikTok is entertainment and that none of these features really matter all that much.
I remember reading one time that TikTok is currently the world's most popular search engine. And it's like there's so much bad information on TikTok that it's alarming to imagine that that's where people are getting their information. And I think if you just filter through the disappointment that runs through a reasonable person and accept that this is the way the world is, I think you're able to accept that, like, okay, well, if it becomes a search engine that leads people to unreliable reviews, I'm sure they'll make 10 billion gajillion more dollars.
The FDA has escalated an ongoing recall of over 6,000 bags of Lay's classic potato chips to a Class 1 level due to the presence of undeclared milk, which could be dangerous and potentially deadly for those with an allergy. This undeclared milk comes as a surprise to many, as the chips do not normally contain dairy, demonstrating more than a simple labeling issue. No illnesses have been reported yet, but consumers with milk allergies are urged to avoid the product.
This is now the second undeclared milk drama in the past year. The last one was for Costco butter, though, which people expect to contain milk. Surely nobody expects their Lay's classic potato chips to contain milk.
Yeah, the Lay's bags of potato chips don't even have a like may contain milk warning that would indicate that it's on shared machinery of any kind. So I'm really curious as to how this even happened in the first place.
Any conspiracy theories from you? Because surely this is like a machine that only cuts and fries potatoes. They don't, they shouldn't theoretically share it with any dairy processing anything. So I don't know. Did somebody like drop a cheese cube onto the conveyor belt as it was being made?
The only thing I can think of would be like, an employee's meal, their lunch or something, somehow making it onto the floor where this is being produced, but that feels like such a stretch. Um, I really can't figure out where this could come from.
I think that if you are a person with serious food allergies, the world will never be very accommodating to you, even when people try their best. I remember one time during a class trip, somebody who had a peanut allergy, we went to go visit Portland, and this was at the height of the food truck craze, right when it had just started. And somebody was frying something with peanuts in it, and just the exhaust fan, like just walking by the truck with the exhaust fan shooting peanut dust out into the air was enough to send her into the hospital, and she had to cut her trip short. So I understand that life is tough for people with hard allergies. And, even if you don't have tough allergies to deal with, I feel like this is a major bummer for just knowing how much food waste goes into something like this when it's just like, well, the potato chips are ruined and we got to throw them all away. We can't even sell them at a discount. Keep listening. We'll be right back. This episode of Eater's Digest is brought to you by patreon.com/Shaq. You'll notice that this show is not monetized. You'll notice that we do not have advertisers. The show is entirely possible due to the support at this website. Please visit patreon.com/Shaq if you'd like to provide some support as well. It's also where you can sign up for free and get a newsletter version of this show delivered to your email inbox every Friday morning. That comes with links to all of the sources, supporting text, and Willow's notes that she took when she was researching the project. That is patreon.com/Shaq. See you there.
Australian OnlyFans model Emily Bright has gained attention recently after a viral video of her discovering an entire kitchen knife inside of a wrap she bought from a cafe. Fortunately, Emily was unharmed, but commenters on her TikTok were alarmed by the discovery, with some suggesting she consider a lawsuit due to the potential danger, and others questioning the legitimacy of her claim entirely. Emily chose not to pursue any legal action, accepting a few blueberry muffins from the cafe as an apology instead.
I didn't know that in your reporting you had already found that people were questioning the legitimacy of her claim, because I find this to be completely unbelievable. I am going to stake my claim on the I don't believe it mountain on this one. You're nodding as if you agree.
Yeah, I gotta be right there with you. I am inclined to doubt this. I've worked in my fair share of restaurants, businesses where I was making hundreds and hundreds of sandwiches. Even at my most tired, my most hungover, I have never put a knife in somebody's sandwich. I I am inclined to think that this is fake. If you look at the pictures, the handle of the knife is relatively clean, while just the blade and kind of the first half of the handle appear to have like mayonnaise or something on it. It looks as though it was just stuck right in there. The wrap itself doesn't even look like it came from a cafe. It's small, it's floppy, it's poorly wrapped in plastic wrap. I I think that this woman is smart for finding a way to make her content go so viral. You know, if she's an OnlyFans model, this is bringing lots of people to her account. Um, and she is certainly capturing attention on that account for sure. But I don't think that this is true. I think
Yeah.
that this, if it actually happened to somebody, I would be pissed if I found a whole paring knife in my sandwich.
I'm so glad that you mentioned how pale and sad the wrap looks, because that is really tough to believe that it would come from any restaurant that charges money for that. I think it's fishy that she didn't name the cafe, where I think if you really had that happen to you, you would name the cafe. There would be some kind of branding on it. I don't think that the knife would perfectly span the length of the wrap, especially because when you do this action to close it, you would potentially feel it, whoever is working there. Um, I don't know why you would she said that it felt like a hard carrot in the wrap. I don't know why you would bite down on a hard carrot, start recording, and then say, "Oh, what's this? It's a perfect length orange paring knife." I don't know what kind of sandwich employee or sandwich artist would use a paring knife for any of their work, because it's made for like more delicate or decorative tasks. Really, none of it adds up. I think what's interesting is that I'm looking at the URL to the story that you found, and it says, "Mom horrified after finding large knife." I don't know if she is a mother. I know that the knife wasn't large, but I don't know if that was an accident or a slight, as if to say, we're not going to give her the opportunity to promote the work that she does online. We're just going to call her Mom. Because the first words that you chose for your reporting were Australian OnlyFans model, and I think that's where the free promotion starts to come in.
Yeah, the first couple instances that I found of this story, none of them mentioned the fact that she was an OnlyFans model. They all used the same verbiage, that she was a mom or that she was just a TikToker. Once I uncovered the OnlyFans thing, I was like, this makes so much more sense. And that's no shade to OnlyFans models. Like, I think that what this woman did ultimately was very clever. I don't think it was the right way to get attention, but I do think it worked. Um, I also, looking at this URL, not only does it says mom and large knife and store-bought wrap. None of the information in the actual URL reflects the information given in the article, which is interesting.
Yeah, interesting to say that everybody's lying all the way down, from the people who make the content to the people who report on it.
Except us. You can trust us.
Right. I watch the Super Bowl every year. What kind of new products can we look forward to?
All right. This week I have for you Liquid Death soda-inspired flavors in Killer Cola, Dr. Death, and Root Beer Wrath, Secret Handshake Foods Bloody Mary Hot Sauce, and Taco Bell dessert kits in Chocolate Taco and Cinnamon Nachos.
these are ranked in descending order of interest to me. So Taco Bell dessert kits, who cares? Choco Taco, that you can slap your Taco Bell brand name on anything. Secret Handshake Foods Bloody Mary hot sauce. Interesting because it's presumably like a hot sauce with like celery and tomato and black pepper notes, right?
I would imagine, yeah. Maybe a little bit of a kind of a Tabasco adjacent hot sauce flavor, I'm guessing.
What I really want to talk about here is the Liquid Death soda inspired seltzer, because this is a product that used to be available at my Kroger. I forgot what the brand name was. They haven't had it for like 3 years, and it was the most perfect seltzer I've ever had. They have like it's like, what if you had Dr. Pepper flavored seltzer, no sugar, just the flavor, and it is a perfect beverage.
I would jump on this in a heartbeat. I think that this is a great idea. I'm right there with you. I'm a big Diet Coke head that we've mentioned before. Um, and I would love to get away from that. And I think a cola flavored seltzer would be the logical replacement. If I ever see this out, I'm definitely going to try it. I think that it's also very smart because Liquid Death, their flavored seltzers are just barely sweetened. It's like a tiny, tiny bit of sugar or something in there. It'll really like help encapsulate that soda flavor in them if it's just the tiniest bit sweet. I think they sound delicious. I would try them. I think the only negative thing I have to say is that I wish Liquid Death would sell their regular flavors in 12-ounce cans because these soda flavors are coming in 12-ounce cans.
Yeah, the cola flavor I never really have much hope for when it comes to anything like energy drinks, candy, anything like cola is such a complex flavor in itself with so many variations where it's like this one has more vanilla or this one is a little bit minty. Root beer is kind of the same way, but it's like the big three with like sarsaparilla, vanilla, or creaminess as like the main. I've been looking into this a lot because I just had a mug root beer at Chiba Hut last week and it was life changing. And I've been looking for mug and all I see is Barks and A&W around. And so now I'm just like on the hunt for more mug on tap. Anyway, Dr. Pepper is the one where it's just like we can all agree that whether it's like Dr. Pepper or Dr. Fizz or whatever the generic versions are, like when you ask for that flavor profile, this is what you get. And that's why that was the one that I always ended up getting with the Kroger store brand version of these unsweetened Dr. Pepper seltzers. I will say the names are pretty disappointing. They've always been pretty good at their names. Dead Billionaire and Mango Chainsaw. And these are kind of just lame. Killer Cola. This is just something that you kind of see on regular branding.
Yeah, they seem a little bit cheesy. I do think out of all of them, Dr. Death has the best ring to it.
Yeah, but compare that to like the rotten, what is it? It's a sugar-free or low-sugar version of Nerds gummy clusters that's been going around recently, and it's really disgusting looking branding and leans out of the super sweet candy aesthetic. They are currently doing a better job at making like a weird, freaky name for their product than Liquid Death. So I just hope that they defend their throne a little bit more than this, because if they trend downwards, they're going to lose it.
I think that that's interesting that you mentioned that other brand. I think that going forward, we're going to start to see a lot more of that type of thing. I think Liquid Death was kind of the first brand to really like dive headfirst into the like aggressive alternative, like not as like family friendly sort of branding to it. And I think that Rotten Candy Company is leaning into that as well. And I have not spoken on any like 2025 food predictions personally, but that would be high up there if I had to make any.
I can already see myself becoming annoyed at that if the trend takes off, because that was something that was kind of relegated to beer, where it was just like, oh, can you hand me another stupid bastard ale? And now that, beer is having its flop era, which somebody just said that exact sentence to me last week, beer and wine are having a flop era. I can see that branding taking root in other industries like low sugar candies and high protein chicken dips. It's just the nature of our generation aging.
Big Daddy's cottage cheese buffalo dip. Like,
I wouldn't put it past them. Eater's Digest is published every Friday on YouTube, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. You can also get a text-based version delivered to your email every Friday at patreon.com/shack.